Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. That evening when she walked through the door, there was a strange serenity on her face, as if she had already rehearsed her excuse long before anyone asked a question. We sat down for dinner and out of nowhere, she dropped a sentence that made me freeze completely. "I was with my ex," she said as if it were nothing. "But we were careful so it doesn't count." My fork slipped from my hand but I said nothing. I just stared at her, pretending I hadn't heard her confession. The room went utterly silent. She expected a fight, maybe even an outburst, but I remained calm. My quietness seemed to disturb her far more than any shout could have. She continued eating, stealing glances at me as though waiting for me to crack, but I didn't. Inside, my heart was shattering piece by piece. That night, I lay beside her, listening to the sound of her breathing as if nothing had happened, while her words looped endlessly in my mind. We were careful so it doesn't count. Did our marriage mean so little to her? Did loyalty mean nothing if precautions were taken? I clenched my fist under the blanket, yet stayed silent. The next morning, I acted as though everything was normal. I made her tea, kissed her forehead as she left for work, smiled as if nothing had changed. But behind that smile I was planning. If she thought her betrayal could slide by with excuses, I would show her what quiet observation could achieve. Proof, truth, and consequences. Over the following weeks I watched her closely. She had no idea I had access to her cloud storage, messages, and travel logs. Every piece of information painted the same picture. It wasn't a one-time lapse. She had been meeting him repeatedly, convincing herself it didn't matter. My silence became my strongest weapon, giving me time to uncover the full truth. One evening she laughed on the phone with him in the kitchen, unaware I was standing just outside the door. "He doesn't suspect a thing," she whispered. My chest tightened, but I stayed perfectly still, letting her words sink in. That night when she came to bed, I held her hand. She smiled, oblivious to the fact that I already knew everything. The more I remained silent, the more careless she became. She stopped hiding her actions, assuming my calmness meant acceptance. Meanwhile, I documented everything: photos, messages, receipts, methodically preserving every detail. She believed her betrayal was invisible, but I was quietly constructing a story she could never deny. One Sunday, we visited her parents. They greeted us warmly, commenting on how strong our marriage appeared. I almost laughed at the irony. She squeezed my hand, playing the role of the devoted wife flawlessly, and I let her continue for now. Weeks later, I gathered our families and a few close friends at our home. I announced I had something to share. She looked puzzled, as if expecting an ordinary surprise. Then I displayed everything on the screen: her chats, her photos, her excuses. Silence filled the room, the same silence I had carried all along. Her face drained of color, lips trembling as she tried to speak. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. "We were careful so it doesn't count." Her own words echoed back, hollow and weak in front of everyone. No one defended her. No one believed her. I looked at her one final time, the woman who had once vowed loyalty. "You thought silence meant forgiveness," I said. "It meant I was watching. And now everyone sees the truth." She crumpled, hiding her face in shame. My heart felt nothing. The following days were strangely calm. Calls came, some in shock, some in pity, but I didn't need sympathy. I had already mourned those nights of silence. She moved out quietly, no arguments, no confrontations, just humiliation. Those weeks taught me something profound. Silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the sharpest weapon, cutting deeper than anger ever could. She believed her betrayal didn't count, but in the end it counted more than anything. It cost her everything. And I finally understood that true peace doesn't come from clinging to what's broken. It comes from walking away without regret.